Well, hello. It's finally beautiful out, and I'm going to try an actual walk and talk with Tundra here. I think it's much more fun to look at an animal than a person. And so I've been thinking a lot that I could talk about some concepts that I've brought up in my posts, but use the horses to help me illustrate. So Tundra, if you know from the cast of characters, is only a young horse. She's just about 3 and doesn't know very much, but is super friendly and very interested and curious. So what we're gonna do is just go for a walk. And the thing that I wanted to talk about actually is what she's doing right now, putting her head down. So a horse putting their head down is, I don't know, they're like a warm hug. When their head is down, they are feeling safe. They're feeling like nothing's going to eat them in the next 5 minutes. Look at her eyes. Like she's just really happy right now. And so as a horse handler, it's really a useful little physical hack to, as much as possible, help horses bring their heads down. And the opposite is when their heads fly up, and maybe you'll see that on the walk. So let's see. When a horse is looking around and trying to see in the distance, their head goes up because then they can see farther away. But what also happens is that they get very highly alerted and their whole nervous system goes into an activated mode. And so you're in a lot more danger of them doing something kind of impulsive or reactive. So she's going right now, what is that? And what that is, this is kind of what I wanted to show you, is new. Dan just burnt a bunch of trees, which were sad, but they were dead. And so what is that? She did a little bit of a look, and now her head is down, suggesting that she doesn't think this is a major threat right now. Anyway, so that's the preparatory concept of, just for those of you who aren't horse people, that a head down is a good thing. It's showing sense of security, definitely curiosity, yeah. And I love curiosity in a horse, right? Like curiosity means they're thinking. Curiosity is I'm not just reacting. I'm thinking, I'm trying to take in information. So I set up a little obstacle here because I wanted to, no, I'm talking really fast because I'm excited. I'll do a circle. I wanted to bring up the idea that because we have 3 parts of us, like I've said before, there's an emotional side, there's a physical side, our bodies, and there's a mental side. All of those are different ways to access motivation and engagement. And so I'm using the task of head down, which is a behavior I want, and I want to access that behavior the 3 different ways. And so what you're seeing right now is, I would actually say this is an emotional head down, because this is food, and food is a horse's best thing. So I think the head down here is like, I feel safe, I see food, I am just enjoying the idea of chomping the food. So her head is down because she basically wants to put her head down. And so that's great. That's the emotional head down. Now I'm gonna pull her away from what she wants, and I'm gonna see if I can get her head down because of curiosity, which would be more of a mental head down. So I've brought over this thing. Okay, I'm hoping you can see it. Yeah, it's just a fly mask. And it's a what is it moment, right? Just like with the burn pile. So again, her head came down. She nosed it, but she's not doing that because she wants to. It's more because she's like, what is it? So that's more of a mental head down. So that's two different ways to get a horse's head down. She's back to finding grass. This is going to be spring. And then let's find a place where there's no grass so that she's unlikely to be emotionally motivated. Obviously, she's in a really nice space right now, hey? And that's what I like too, is that walking with me is kind of a nice time to just sort of hang out and explore. And I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna try a physical head down, which is like a pull. Good girl, good girl. And I'm gonna reward that, of course, because I do that all the time with the treating. I always want their head down when I treat, but that was a pull. Good girl. And also, if you notice, she's following me. So her head is like physically following me. And I would say that's a physical behavioral cue. Yeah, come on. Good girl. So with a horse, we can access all three of the horses inside their horse. Look at her. Very curious. Love it. Love it. Now, I want to add in one more concept before I flood you guys, and that is that behavior is a tricky thing, right? Like, she's putting her head down, which I said is a wanted behavior. I could very easily have a different plan in my head and be thinking, you know, when you walk with me, you should never graze. That could be a rule. I could make that a rule. Many horse people make that a rule, and sometimes it's a really helpful rule. So let's say that's a different behavior, and I change the rules on her, and all of a sudden I'm like, I don't want you to graze. And so now she has to figure that out, and she has to decide whether to listen to me. And that's when things can go wrong, right? Like, that's when we can get into trouble. And the point I'm trying to make is not how to deal with that. It's actually to look around where we are and look at the fact that I just bonked her in the head. Look at the fact that we're in a little bit of an enclosure here. And so if something went sideways and she or I felt unsafe, I could just drop the rope and walk away. And you know what? She's following me. so that's not really illustrating anything except that, you know, we're feeling connected, and the walk is not so much about behavior as the relationship for her, which she's enjoying. And so there's the container of the relationship that she and I have so far, which is just building. Let's see where she chooses to go. Yeah, I'm not holding the rope at all. She's just following me. And, you know, maybe that's because I have treats. I don't know. I don't care. I'm happy that she's following me, happy to hang out with me. But even if she wasn't, I've got a fence around. I have set this up so that she could run away and still be safe. And so that allows me to work on behavior such as keeping her head down, or maybe changing the rules and asking her to keep her head up. Either way. And she can work it out, and we can be together, but maybe not tightly together. I can give her the space to experiment and try, because there's this container of safety, which is the enclosure. And inside the container of safety that is the enclosure, there's also this lovely container she's demonstrating, which is that our relationship is not based solely on, you know, being connected by a rope. Like, we're absolutely joined up here. And I love that. But, you know, I'm not going to totally always rely on it, because things scare her. This is a very nice day. It's very calm. And nobody else is like yelling and screaming over in the other paddock, so it's good. So that's my walk and talk for today. There's a few concepts, and I'll try and list them in the notes, because I kind of went a little further than I thought, but with these horses, you know, there's so much they can teach us. So anyway, have a good day.